Hello class, today we're going to be going over lesson 6.3, which has to do with a new transformation. This time we're going to be learning about rotations. So remember, in the past we have learned about translations, which our slang term for that is a slide. We've learned about reflections. Our slang term for that is a flip. And now we're going to be learning about rotations. And another way you can think about a rotation is like a turn, if you're turning a corner or turning to the left and or right. So let's start off here. Oops, can I start without? Hang on a minute. Okay. So, like I said, this is going to be lesson 6.3 where we're going to be learning about rotations. All right, so our first definition for today. So the definition of a rotation is a transformation that turns a figure around a fixed point called the center of rotation. So basically, the center of rotation is just going to be that one point on our graph that we're going to be rotating our figure about. If it's a triangle, the triangle is going to be rotating about that one point on the graph. Now, normally that center of rotation is going to be the origin. Or if we're talking about an X and Y axis like this here, if we're talking about an X and Y axis, this is the Y axis, this is the X axis, this right here is the origin. It's the point right in the middle where these two axes intersect. It's the point 0, 0. So for the most part, that is going to be our center of rotation. We might have a few other situations where that is not our center of rotation, but for right now, and especially when we're introducing it, I want you guys to think of the origin or the point 0, 0 as your center of rotation. Alrighty, our other definition we have today is an angle of rotation. So the angle of rotation is the measurement of the number of degrees the figure rotates. So I want you guys to remember, if the number is going to be positive, like a positive 90 degrees, a positive 180 degrees, a positive 270 degrees, then we're going to be rotating counterclockwise or like this. So when our number is positive, we're going to be rotating counterclockwise like this. If our number is negative, then we're going to be rotating clockwise like this here. So when we have a positive measure or a positive angle of rotation, we're going counterclockwise, or we're turning almost to the left a little bit. When we have a negative angle of rotation, we're going to be turning clockwise or kind of to the right a little bit. Alrighty, another thing I want you guys to think of, we normally have 4 measures of rotation or 4 angles of rotation here. We're normally going to be rotating either 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, or 360 degrees. Those are normally the 4 angles of rotation we're going to be dealing with. Obviously, we can rotate whatever angle measure we want, but for right now, especially when we're introducing it, I want you guys to think about these 4 numbers right here. And notice all of these are positive, right? So you want to think to yourself, what way will I be rotating when I rotate these amount of degrees? Well, since they're all positive, we're going to be rotating counterclockwise or this way. All right. So just a little visual for you guys to see here. This is what a rotation is going to look like. So notice how unlike a slide or a translation or a flip/reflection, notice how our figure is rotating and the kind of the orientation of it changes, right? Now, instead of our B being on top, the B is on the left-hand side. Instead of the A being the furthermost to the left, it's now the one on the bottom. And the C is now on top. So I want you guys to think for a second. What is our angle of rotation here? Well, if you notice right here, it tells us that this angle that makes up from our A to our A prime is 90 degrees. So our angle of rotation in this problem is 90 degrees. Since this is a positive 90, we're rotating counterclockwise here. We're going in this direction. Also want to notice, what is our center of rotation here? Like I told you guys, the center of rotation here is the origin. It's the point 0, 0. So we're rotating our figure ABC about the origin 90 degrees. And it's causing our figure to change orientation or basically just turn a little bit. All right, so I want you guys to all go to this YouTube video here. I'm going to have it also posted in the link. But I want you guys to go to this YouTube video here and watch a little bit about rotations. It shows us some good things there, and I want you guys to especially take notes down on what your new coordinates are going to be when you rotate it, okay? So I'm going to post that video along with this one. I want you guys to also make sure you're watching it. You don't have to take notes on everything in there. But when, for example, it tells you when you rotate 90 degrees, when you rotate 180 degrees, rotate 270 degrees, it's going to tell you that your x comma y is going to go to something, or it's going to tell you what your x comma y is going to be every single time when you rotate this certain amount. So I want to make sure you guys get that down. You'll see it in the video. It tells you when you rotate 90 degrees, your x comma y is going to become like negative x comma y or something like that. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys get that down in your notes. All right. So I want you guys to watch that video before you see these next 4 questions. But for now, you can pause the video and watch the video. All right. So right now, we want to see this figure is rotated about what point. So we have our figure right here, and it's rotating in a 180 degree turn. It's rotating about what point right here. I want you guys to think about this one for yourself. Alrighty, hopefully on this one you guys chose the point. You guys chose the point 0, 0 because that figure was rotated about the origin, right? Remember, I'm telling you the center of rotation is almost always going to be the origin in these problems. So notice how this figure rotated about that point 0, 0 there, right in the middle, okay? All right, let's go on to another question here. Do that. Here it is. All right, next question here. All right, what are the 4 degree measurements we're going to rotate? I want you guys to fill in the blank here. So we have 4 degree measurements, right? I told you that these are the most common degrees we are going to rotate. Now, obviously, we can rotate as many degrees as we want, but these are going to be the 4 most common, okay? So what are the 4 most common ones? Feel free to pause the video if you need more time on this. Alrighty, what we should have answered on this one are the points 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. Those are going to be our 4 angles of rotation here. If you want to think about it on an X and Y graph here, basically, this would be 90 degrees, this would be 180 degrees, this would be 270 degrees, and then this would be 360 degrees. Basically, you'd rotate multiples of 90. So this would be your first 90 degrees, your second 90 degrees, your third 90 degrees, and then you would come back to the original figure there. So the 4 degrees I was looking for was 90, 180, 270, and 360. All right, another question for us here. This figure was rotated how many degrees? So do you think this figure was rotated 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, or 360 degrees? As a hint, think about what quadrant that figure is in. All right, so that figure right there is rotated 180 degrees, and here's why. If we're, again, keeping track of our quadrants here, we can remember that this quadrant right here is our 90-degree quadrant, okay? This quadrant is 180 degrees. This quadrant is 270 degrees. And this quadrant is 360 degrees. Now, the reason we can map it all out like that is because our original figure is in the first quadrant. So you just move to the left. The first one to the left is the 90 degree, then down is 180 degree, to the right, 270, and up is 360. So right here, this would be a 180 degree rotation. Okay, we want to see this figure was rotated how many degrees? Here's our original figure right here, and this is the new figure, okay? Here's our original figure, this is the new Alrighty, so that figure right there is rotated 90 degrees. The way we could tell is from this original figure here, we only had to make one turn counterclockwise. So we went from here to here, we made one turn. Since there's only one turn, that would be a 90-degree turn. All right, I believe we have one question left here. Conclusion. I just want you guys to write out in your notebooks what we learned today, okay? So make sure you're getting at least 2 complete sentences down about what we learned today. When you guys are done with that, you feel free to end the video. Make sure if you have any questions on this, you bring them to class tomorrow so I'll be able to answer them, okay? I will see you all in class then. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye.